Camera, but Gary put him into there.
Oh,
It's there.
he just said he's in the thing.
And if nothing else happens
Gary
all
D.
night, we've got loads.
Do you want me to put that? Nobody can have spirits, sorry. Only them spooky ones.
What's a shame, but never mind. Right, anybody been here before?
Yeah.
Oh! 1, 2, 3. Was it good? Things happen?
Yeah.
Kid you not, guys, this is acting, but let me explain a little bit. It's a jail, it's not a prison.
George III, 17.
There's a difference. You guys are in a prison cell. No, you're not, you're in a jail cell. That's the cell. It should have a bricked up wall here, and where they are at the back should be bricked up as well. But for many years it was a nightclub. Very seedy nightclub as well. Literally.
Did I miss that?
You did, yeah. My God, it was sex and drugs and rock and roll. You name it.
Ozzy Osbourne.
It was bad. And when I took it over 23 years ago, as you can see, it's grade 2 listed building. But they're allowed to knock all the walls out. The cell doors were all over, anywhere over the walls and things they weren't on. All the doorways were knocked out and squared off, like the bar and the kitchen knocked out. So I had to re-brick everything up, sandblast all the walls because they were plastered and then painted. There was a dance floor here, and we found a fireplace at the back, real fireplace, which we do normally have a fire, but I've got problems at the moment because the folks that actually live upstairs, smoke goes into their bedroom.
Oops.
And they're not happy about that. So we're going to have to do something seriously about that before the winter. Right, it's a jail. It's 3 times what you've seen when you came in. That's only 1/3 of it. It goes through next door, and it goes through next door but one, as do the ghosts. And it was forced up. The whole building that you saw was the jail. It was the county jail. So any crime committed in Derbyshire, if you were caught, you ended up here. But you were only kept here until the trial, and then if you were found guilty, punishment. Punishment that in those, 1756 this was built, right? And in those days there were no prisons, there were only jails. It was like being on remand. You were only here until after the trial, and then the punishments were being whipped at the cart's tail till your back be bloody. That was tied to the back of the horse and cart and led through the streets of Derby, stripped to the waist, male or female, with a cat o' nine tails, which is 9 leather thongs knotted, ripping the flesh from your back.
Ouch.
Number 1, brought back here, taken to your cell, and then salt rubbed into the wounds.
That's going to sting.
Depending on the severity of the crime, you may be taken out next week, and the same again. That would kill you. Well, it would rip the flesh right down to the bones. So that's number 1. Punishment number 2, branding on the palm of the hand or the cheek with a letter T for thief. It's an early form of CRB check. You try walking into a jewellery shop with a big letter T on your face, eh? Number 3, transportation. Sent somewhere, in other words, right? Guess where to?
Australia.
Yorkshire. No. No. Yes. America. We hadn't got Australia in 1756. So we sent them all to America and a few to the Spice Islands, Caribbean, and a little bit of Africa that we got. But then all of a sudden we lost America, didn't we? Now what are we going to do? Difficult. What are we going to do with them all? We haven't got prisons. So they sent them all down to the River Thames and put them on what's called a prison hulk, which is an old decommissioned warship, no sails, no mast, no, rat-infested, disease-ridden, and they built wooden cells to keep them in for years, and then whoopee, we got Australia. And we sent, the first fleet went in 1788, 33 ships full of transported prisoners, all the way to Australia, including a girl from here, Anne Williamson from Ashbourne in Derbyshire, who'd stolen a piece of cloth, transported for 14 years. And if transported for 7 years, 14 years or life, but life meant life. If you returned early, you'd be hanged. And one guy returned early from here. and they hanged him here. 56 people hanged from here, including various suicides that took place in here. When it opened in 1756, there was no segregation whatsoever in the cells. Male and female, old and young, tried or untried, sane or insane, put in the same cells. You'd be murdered for the coat off your back if you've got a better coat and a warmer coat than somebody else in this place. It's a place of terror, torment, pain, anguish, death, suicide, execution and murder. And just to take it a stage further, they had a bar, a tap as it was called, and they sold beer, wine and gin to the inmates that were not segregated in their cells whatsoever. They were let out of their cells during the day and they had knives. How do I know they had knives? Because in a few minutes I will take you and show you all over these doors. This is almost unique because it's a jail. It's not a, I'm sure you may have done other prisons, Shrewsbury prison, Gloucester prison,
Jedburgh prison.
Yeah.
Last week we did that.
Yeah, they're prisons.
Yeah.
And they're modern. Well, they had gaslight, central heating. Because basically what happened, after we got the idea of these prison hulks, we realised, oh, we could do this here, we could build prisons and lock people away. So that's how we got the idea. So the old county jail, like this one, was demolished or completely gutted and modernised in Victorian one. So it had metal doors and sliders so you could see what's going on to the prisoner. You could put food underneath it. They had gas lights. This hasn't, because basically they decided here to build a new county jail, which is 8 minutes walk away, which we're taking you to later. So this remained as it was. It's unique. It's a Georgian jail, and its doors, its bricks, its floor, its walls are all original 1756, and all over these doors is graffiti from the prisoners. Messages from those about to die before they were hanged, all over the doors. And the really belting bit of this is that not only are the messages from the prisoners, but there's also messages for the ghosts. What? All over these doors are witch marks. Witch marks are apotropaic marks, and apotropaic is Greek for keep out. They were frightened of ghosts, evil spirits, demons while they were in here. And so all over the doors they scratched witch marks on. They're not to stop witches coming in. They're called witch marks, but they're not. They're to stop evil spirits coming in. And the most famous one of all, lots of them, but is a double V. V. There was no such thing as a W in the alphabet in those days. There was no such thing as a U. It was a V and double V. And double V is what's known as a Marian mark. It's religious. And double V means Virgin of Virgins. Mary, Mother of Jesus. And all over the door. When I took this over all those years ago, I couldn't understand why there was so many Williams in the place. Double V's, well, W's as I thought, all over the bloody place. And then I had a guy, a history guy that had been down to London, said, "Can I come and see your doors?" I said, "Of course you can." He says, "Well, I've been down to London and there's some oak panels from a prison or a jail from London, and there's witch marks all over them." So he comes down here and he stops and he says, look at this one, look at this one. He says, you've got a Derby Jail door tour here, mate. Literally. And all over these doors are double V's, and then the others are a circle with 6 petals, and it's known as a daisy wheel. And then the other one is just a circle. And you see what? And then the other, before I'll do that bit, and then the other one is some form of puzzle. Any sort of puzzle that you could draw on the door. They thought that demons, no such thing by the way, demons, evil spirits if you like, okay, were stupid. And if an evil spirit, a demon, was attracted to a circle, once it got into the circle, there were no corners for it to hide. And also, because they were stupid, if they got in to where there was a puzzle, they wouldn't be able to work it out and they'd get stuck. I mean, this is crap. This is absolute bollocks, guys. But let me explain something. It wasn't to them. As I'll explain a little bit more in a minute. In other words, they believed all this mumbo-jumbo religious stuff that was being preached to them at the time. And I'll prove that in a minute to you when we take you into the murder room. And so, we'll have a look around. All over it, witch marks, double V's, circles, daisy wheels. And the other one is a saltire, St Andrew's cross. And that, guess what it means? Same thing. You know, in other words, the king's standing at, the king's in there and there's two guards at the door. You want to get in. The guards cross the spears to stop you coming in. And it's the same thing. It means keep out. And then one of the doors, the corridor that you came in, not only are there those witch marks, but all over the doors as well, are left handprints. And the left handprint, scratched on the door, with knives. It's got to be knives because you see the depth of the cut in the doors. That's why I know they had knives here. It's got to be. So, left handprint. My first take was, oh, of course it's a lot easier, isn't it? Put your left hand on it and scratch on it with the right hand. No, they're not. They're left hand prints. And the left hand is the sinister hand. And how many know that? Yeah. Anybody keggy-handed? Oh, yeah. Left-handed? Yep. A witch! Another witch! A wizard! Yeah, no, really. Right. It's unnatural. It was then. I'm going back. So, if you're accused of witchcraft, right, first thing they do once you were taken to jail, they strip you and they look for the devil's mark, which would be a birthmark, a wart. Oh, that's enough. But if they couldn't find anything, if you were left-handed, that was enough. Because the sinister, Latin for left is sinistra. Latin for right is dexter. So anybody ambidextrous? Right. That means you're right-handed in both hands. Ambidextrous, Latin. But left hand, sinister. So if you were left-handed, that would be enough for them to get a guilty verdict in court for you being a witch. That's enough. So and all over this one door over there are left-hand marks with their initials inside and the date still on them. They were frightened of ghosts when they were here. So, Christ Almighty, you know, I mean, this is extremely active. Extremely. I mean, I've seen a ghost in here on a Friday afternoon. Yeah, broad daylight. I'm not thinking of ghosts. By the way, I'm frightened of ghosts. Really? What are you doing this for? I've been frightened of ghosts since I was 4. I still do not like staying here on my own. It's still there with me. Oh God, come on, how many of you watch Most Haunted? For God's sake, you should get out more. Well, guess what? Most of us wouldn't be here now if it wasn't for Most Haunted.
No.
Right, isn't it? No doubt about that. And I thank Most Haunted for what they've done for me.
I've got them.
Because, you know, I mean, I resigned on Series 8. I couldn't cope with it any longer. I couldn't cope with the Scooby-Doo side of it any longer. Because, you know, right, it's an entertainment programme, right? End of story. Don't try and pretend that it's all real. Because it isn't. But guess what? Some of it was. But they, God bless them, couldn't actually differentiate between what was real and what they'd set up.
The Castle Museum, my friend works at Castle Museum.
Yeah.
That there was workers, but banging out all the wooden pieces, big pieces of wood.
Making noise. Oh, I know. I mean, honestly. Yeah. You see, the reason I went was because, right, okay, there's a big door there. Now, we have a spate of doors opening on their own and closing on their own, which we've got on film. We haven't put it on yet, because I'm too idle to do it. No, I'm a bastard, honestly. But that's another thing. So that door suddenly slams shut. Bang! You're watching Most Haunted. Christ almighty, it makes you jump. It was a scary ghost. Really? Oh yes, it was a scary ghost. They're all scary. They're going to get us later. It's always a scary ghost, because all ghosts are scary. No, they're not. Ghosts aren't there to get you. Ghosts were you and me once. And guess what? Most of you and me's are nice. Not all of us, but most people are. So that means Most ghosts are nice. Yeah? There is evil. There is evil spirits. You are.
I said I'm more scared of the living than I am.
Yeah, so you should be. You should be. But joking apart, there is evil, because there are evil people. Because your ego goes with you. And your ego is your personality. And if you're an evil person, when you're here, it goes with you. So there is evil, but no. So back to the door. So the door slams shut. I run off, because I'm frightened of ghosts. Yvette screams, as usual. Yeah, okay. It was a scary ghost. All I wanted them to do, and it wasn't my show, so why should they? All I wanted to do was go and check, see if someone's left a window open. Because it is a windy night. And it's much more likely the fact. Now, just supposing it hadn't been a windy night, and there wasn't a window open, let's start to investigate.
Yeah.
They never did. Because, oh, come on, we're going to go in the cellar now. Well, never mind that. Something's happened here that's real. They didn't do that. They never did that. They never really, how you guys, 6, 8 of you, really, correct me if you think I'm wrong, they never really investigated.
You've got to. If something
course you
happens,
have.
you thrive for the evidence, don't you?
Tick the normal boxes first. And if you've got a box without a tick, whoa, come on, let's start to... No, never, ever did. Because, to be very honest with you, they haven't got a clue what ghosts are. No, they haven't. Oh, no, they haven't. Look, listen, Yvette Fielding, God bless them. I mean, look, I thank them for what they've done, right? So, am I knocking them? No, I'm not wanting to kick their arse. Because they could have done better. But they still did an incredible show, because that's why we got more viewers than The Simpsons in our heyday.
Yeah.
So come on, I can't really blame them, but I just wish that they'd use. So Yvette Fielding, she's a presenter, TV presenter, Blue Peter, City Hospital, various things like that. Great, but they really didn't know much about them. I mean, right, the sound guy. What's his name? John Gilbert. Big. No, Stuart. No, Uncle Fester. You mean? No.
Uncle Fester.
No, basically, the sound guy, all straggly hair, and every time he crashed to the ground after fainting, with all his equipment went, that guy was so sensitive that I reckon if he'd gone into a maternity hospital, I reckon he'd have felt slightly pregnant. But I can't knock them because they created an incredible entertainment show that has created more argument, more debate, more discussion and more research than any ghost programme ever will. And all ghost programmes that are out there now, they're all doing the same. They're all still playing at Most Haunted.
Yeah.
So my God, they must have done something right. There's no doubt about that. It's created such an incredible awareness of the paranormal. And now we've got to look for more. And I'm the guy that's trying to prove what ghosts are. The reality behind ghosts. The first thing I want to do is change the word ghost for energy. That's the word, that's what we are. All of us are nothing but energy. And there's two parts to that energy. There's this, the flesh, which even after death is still energy because it becomes fertiliser for daffodils. Yeah? It's still energy, it's still doing something, isn't it? But there's an inward energy that I'm just at this time in my life starting to believe that the mind is separate to the brain. And the mind is not just up there, but isn't up there at all, it's all over the body. And that mind, that you, that your personality, your consciousness, your spirit, your soul, your energy, your ego, you, and there's only one you, there might be others that look like you, there might be others that act similarly, but there's only one you in this universe. Each one of you is totally and utterly unique and the centre of your own universe. And there's only one you. And that you, that mind, that energy, is electromagnetic. We emit 2 kilowatts of electricity in a 24-hour period. And we are nothing but energy. Now, the first law, any scientists amongst us, first law of thermodynamics, I think it's E equals mc squared. You can neither create or destroy energy. You can alter its state, you cannot destroy it. So that you, that energy that's you, it can't be destroyed. You can't be destroyed. You go on in some form. Don't ask me where, how, what, I don't know. But it's, what's the word I'm looking for? You're unique and you can't, you're still around. I don't know whether you go back to some form of energy lake.
Do you believe in reincarnation then?
Let me put it this way. I don't believe in the Hindu type of newborn baby, dead person soul, newborn baby, dead person soul, newborn baby, or sorry, dead person soul, rabbit, new person, goat. No, but I do think there's a very great possibility that it's a bit like not passing your driving test. That when we go on to other planes, spiritual levels, spiritual planes, and I think there's a possibility that if you don't pass the test first time, you come back again. And that's a bit like driving test. You didn't pass your test, so you have to come back and resit it. And I think that's why there are people that have no past lives at all. Because guess what? They passed straight away and went to the next dimension, spiritual level, frequency.
Is that deja vu then? Yeah.
Could be, yes, certainly could be. So in other words, you didn't pass your test, and that's why there are other people that have 3, 5 past lives that they remember bits of, like you deja vu. So, but that's just my take on it. So yes, I do believe it in a way, but God almighty, can I say something?
To an extent.
To a certain extent, yeah. Can I say this before I go any further? There is absolutely no proof whatsoever that ghosts exist. There's none. But guess what? As Peter Sugden will be taking you around up to the place tonight, as Peter said months ago when I said that, but guess what? There ain't no proof that they don't exist, that they do it. There ain't no proof they don't exist either. And there isn't. And I cannot believe in this day and age that science isn't doing more to try and prove or disprove it. But one of the reasons is because there's been too much Scooby-Doo on television and Hollywood.
Scooby-Doo.
It's right, that's the only word I can use. And that's the problem. There isn't, well, but nearest of course is Uncanny. Everybody seen it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to get on that. That's quite good. That's quite good. I think. Quite impressed with that. So, let's just, so here, and I'm going to be, well, I've got 5 minutes, 10 minutes.
You've got about 10 minutes left.
Lucky, right? 10 minutes. Normally, I go for about 3. No, I don't. No. I'm a new Ken dog, that's the trouble. And I talk a lot. Right, so, basically, if you want to know more, it's all in the book. Called What is a Ghost? £12.99, signed copies available, £10 cash. £10 cash. But I ain't got time to tell it you all. But normally I do a talk called What is a Ghost? But my opinion of the whole ghost business is that there's two. It splits into 2 categories. 40% of ghosts, 40% of ghosts are the spirit and soul of a dead person that hasn't moved on. Should have done, but it's still here. For various reasons. Number 1, they've got unfinished business.
Just about to say that.
They were hanged and they didn't do it. And they're still here because or they were murdered, no one found the murderer. They got a job they never finished, or a hobby they never finished, and so they're still here. Number 2, they don't know they're dead. Youngsters especially, soldiers on battlefields, airmen on airfields. There isn't an airfield in this
Come across that a lot.
that hasn't got ghosts of a young airman that made a mistake and is playing at the ground at 350 miles an hour. He was vaporised.
Yeah.
He didn't get time to blink, never mind, prepare himself for it. Well, the lad spends the rest of eternity walking across the apron of the airfield, always towards the control tower. Why? See if the war's still on. See if he can have another Spitfire. Doesn't know he's dead.
Oh.
Anybody connected in any way to the RAF? Okay, right. There is yes, okay. Tell me, right. There is an unwritten law on every RAF airfield in this country that any RAF personnel, including or especially dog handlers, if they refuse to enter the haunted part of the airfield, be it the control tower or a hangar, they will not be put on a charge. That's how seriously the Royal Air Force, Ministry of Defence, accept the fact that they have got ghosts on their airfields of airmen or whoever that have not moved on. That's an absolute fact. But it's not, it's not written down or anything like that, but it's an unwritten law. So, number 2, they don't know they're dead. Number 3, they like it here. What? Then, anybody got ghosts in the house?
Yeah.
That might be the previous occupant or the previous from 400 years ago that love that place so much they don't go. There's a guy here, would you believe, in a jail that loved it so much that he's still here. I won't give any names away or anything like that, but he was a jailer here for 37 years. Most people didn't live 37 years in those, and never mind to keep the same job down. And it was his baby. It was his place. Trust me, he's still here. So that's number 3. Number 4, the big one. Is any born again Christians here? Leave now. No? Have you ever heard of the ghost of a caveman?
No.
Oh, or a dinosaur. Well, if you saw a dinosaur, it'd be a ghost, wouldn't it? Certainly wouldn't be a real one, I don't think. Ghost of a caveman? No. Wow. A guy a few months ago sat where you are, sat there. And I said, have you heard of the ghost of a caveman? He says, no, you won't, because they were stupid. I said, well, they were so stupid, mate, that they worshipped a god in the sky that you could see, that brought heat and light and photosynthesis and made the crops grow and made the grass grow and gave us food for our animals, and every time it came out, like today, it made us ever so happy. Didn't it? The sun. That's how stupid they were. And they also knew more about Earth's energy than we did. They knew about negative energy, they knew about positive energy, they knew about stone. They knew that stone, be it quartz, crystal or anything else, not only stores energy, but emits energy. And so wow, God, that's how stupid. Question for you very quick. Not how, but why. Why did prehistoric man take that stone, that huge, what's it called? Altar stone, that's at Stonehenge now, red sandstone. Why did they bring it all the way from the northeast of Scotland to Stonehenge? Never mind what, but how? But yeah, why did they do it? What's it got? They knew, didn't they? They built stone circles, didn't they, on energy side?
Same as the pyramids, isn't it? They built the pyramids in certain places, yeah.
Machu Picchu, what they knew about energy. The Chinese build pagodas on energy sites, and they stick needles in our energy sites on our bodies. Because, yeah, acupuncture, yeah, Christ Almighty. And another one, the Stone of Destiny, the Stone of Scone, that every Scottish king sat on to be crowned King of Scotland, until King Edward I came along and nicked it, took it to Westminster Abbey, and every king and queen ever since, he stuck it underneath the coronation chair, and all of our monarchs. Why? Well, what's it got? That's red sandstone as well. They knew, didn't they? But we still don't. That's how stupid they were. Wow. So there's so much more. So, right, so back to the, why don't we see ghosts of cavemen? Because they had no fear.
Yeah.
What sort of fear? Christianity came on the scene 2,000 years ago. The Emperor Constantine, the Roman Emperor, was a pagan, worshipped a god called Mithras, but his mum was a Christian. After he'd had about 45,000 Christians slaughtered, he realised that his mum's religion, she was St. Helen, keeper of the cross, a good Christian, and he realised he couldn't stop this religion, so he nicked it. Called it Come on, Richard, get it going. He called it the Roman Church, and invented all the terrors that have kept us under control for nearly 2,000 years. He realised that this religion, as all religions are, was a good way of controlling the population through fear.
Yeah.
And even to this day, most of our judicial system is based on the Ten Commandments, would you believe? And he invented the Ten Commandments. He invented 4 mortal sins, 7 deadly sins, Judgment Day, Purgatory, the devil, demons, the Antichrist, witches, and all this, and that big one, hell. And when hell came on the scene, that was the one. That was the one that you committed a crime, you told a lie, you did anything, and where are you going to go? Do not pass go, go straight to hell and burn in hellfire for how long? Eternity. How hot? Hotter than it is in here. 10,000 degrees centigrade, with gnashing of teeth and ripping of flesh. Christ almighty, they were terrified of this. So it's a case of, oh, well, I know St. Peter won't let me in up there. I'm not going down there. Stop here, thanks. Everyone that came through these doors into this place believed themselves sinners, destined for one place, hell. So it's a case of they've stayed behind because they're terrified of divine retribution, hellfire and damnation, and the teachings of the church, or should I say Christian church. But all religions are the same.
Yeah.
There's no difference now. They're all there to control through fear. And a place like this is, and hence the fact all over the doors here are religious marks, witch marks, to stop evil spirits coming in, because they believed all the mumbo jumbo that were being taught. And a very quick one. Can I have 5 more minutes?
Yeah, go on,
You
yeah.
are good, aren't you?
Yeah.
Right. So
Sorry, I'm enjoying it.
the last crime punishable by the last punishment after the other 3, which was whipping at the cart tail, blah 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 blah, was hanging. And the problem was that crime rate went through the roof when people started moving out of the country into the towns to work in mills and factories. And the crime rate went mad. So in 1723, they realised that they needed to do something to stop crime, and the best way to stop the criminals was to kill them. So they created 222 hanging offences in Great Britain. 222 crimes that carried the death
Angel
penalty.
numbers.
Steal a sheep, steal a cow, stealing a horse, shop breaking, house breaking, burglary, poaching, snaring rabbits. They hanged 4 men in front of this building in 1817 for setting fire to a haystack at South Wingfield in Derbyshire, and in the same year hanged and beheaded 3 guys in front of my jail. The last beheading with an axe in Great Britain, here, on the 7th of November 1817. 222 hanging offences, including, guess what? Murder. Oh, now about this one. Appearing on the street with a sooty face. Hanging offence. Why would you stick your hand up the chimney and smear your hands and your face with soot? You were a burglar, weren't you? Poacher at night. All these crimes. So, but hang on, and murder. Right, so, quickly. We've got a young lad, right, brought here because his kids were starving to death. He'd been sacked from the mill here in Derby, and so he went out to the woods nearby here and snared 3 rabbits. He was caught by the gamekeeper. The rabbits were confiscated to use as evidence, and he was brought here to Derby Jail, then put on trial for poaching and found guilty and sentenced to hang. He was brought back, taken to the condemned cell, which you'll be able to go in later, and he sat there in the dark contemplating, realising that not only he's going to die, but his kids are going to die as well. Take Dad away, breadwinner, what chance have they got? His wife's pregnant with the 5th kid, and they're going to die, and he knows that, poor lad. So is he, I don't know if he's still here or not, that one. Another lad hacked his niece and nephew to death with a gorse hook. It's like a scythe, but it's a bit straighter than a scythe. It's used for hedging. You hack the hedge and then you bend the hedge over, yeah? And the little boy of 8 put up quite a fight, and he hacked him to pieces on the kitchen floor, and he beheaded his 4-year-old little niece. He was brought here to Derby Jail, they put on trial, and also sentenced to hang. Well, we all know which one deserved to hang, whether you're into executions or not. No, they were both hanged, as were hundreds and hundreds of nearly innocent people, I think. And so they realised that they needed to create a punishment for murder worse than death. Ooh. Right. So I have lots of people tell me various things. One little girl on an event I was doing here at school says, why not kill all the family of the murderer? That's what I think, that's a bit extreme. Torture them. torture's illegal in England. Anybody been to Warwick Castle, to the torture chamber?
Yeah.
No such thing. We didn't have torture chambers in this country. We did abroad. I did Scotland, and I, it was illegal.
Chillingham Castle.
Yeah, it is. It's all fake. God bless him. Oh yeah. Yeah, well, I actually went up there and offered to build him a more authentic apartment. Well, it's got one where you press to death, and it's a wine press actually. But yeah, no, oh, it's great. But torture was illegal in England, so we can't torture people. Even though we tortured Catholic priests in Tower London, that was to get information out of them. That's different. That's like waterboarding people now in America, and that's sort of different. That's okay, but it's not torture. No, not torture. So, what we're going to do with them? Right. So, with the church's help, God bless them, they came up with the Murder Act of 1752. And the first part of the Murder Act was that they needed to create a terror beyond death. Terror beyond death? Marriage?
I'm going through that now.
Right, so the first part of the Murder Act was that after 1752, no murderer was allowed to be buried. Ooh. No 6-foot English earth, no gravestone with your name on it, no family around the grave to lay to rest, and of course no Christian burial service to really lay you to rest. Now if you're not at rest, where are you? You're a tormented soul wandering the earth. You're a ghost. Well, what are we going to do with the body? Right, I'm going to tell you rather than show you, but you can go in the murder room in a bit and have a look. Right, because it's all there. Right, so the death sentence for a murderer after 1752 was that you be taken back from this courtroom to the jail from whence you came, and from there to a place of lawful execution. There you will be hanged by the neck until you are dead, and then publicly dissected.
Ooh.
In the Shire Hall in York, Derby, Nottingham, Leicester, whichever assize town you were. So after you were dead, hopefully dead, taken back to the Shire Hall, laid on a dissecting table, first thing they did was wire you up to a battery. I don't mean 4 AAs, I'm talking about a bloody great tank of water with a zinc tower and a copper tower and wires, and they wired you up, and guess what happened? You moved, your leg went up in the air, just like you do at school with frogs and toads and things like electricity, yeah? It's coming back to life. Well, they weren't far from the truth, were they? How do we bring people back to life? Defib, electricity. Right, okay, so that's first bit. Right, guy from Derby, I won't bore you too long now, I'm nearly finished, honestly. Erasmus Darwin, doctor, grandfather of Charles Darwin. Yeah? From Derby. Fascinated by electricity, dissected murderers here in Derby. When Mary Shelley wrote the novel, Frankenstein, if you've got a copy, have a look at the preface. The inspiration for this novel is Dr. Darwin of Derby, after he wired bodies up here in Derby, and they moved. Wow, we're very famous, Derby. Never mind York. Anyway, what do we do next? Flayed the body, skinned it, sent the skin to the tan yard here in Derby, or in York, or in Leicester, or wherever. The skin was tanned and used to buy books, telling of the trial documents and your life. There are books up and down the country. There are pictures in the murder room of books bound in murderer's skin. There's one on the wall that you must look at. He's still got his tattoos on it, front and back cover. But not only can you see the tattoos, clearly see his blonde body hair all over the book, still on it. And another one, guy in Bury St Edmunds, the book's picture of the book, but also his pickled scalp with one ear still attached, on display now in Moyses Hall in Bury St Edmunds. I've had it in my sweaty little hands. Literally, when I did a video on ghosts and stuff like that. Right, then the bones were boiled to get the meat off them and wired up. We have a real skeleton in the murder room down there as well. And then after the bones were boiled, all your bits were examined, cut up and blah blah. Right, punchline of the story. Where are you coming from, Richard? The body wasn't whole. And that meant on the day of judgment, no material resurrection. You do all know, don't you, that when we die, or sorry, on the day of judgment when the trumpets blow, when the trumpets blow, and we all come out of the graves with our shrouds on, yeah, and we're all lined up, and there he is. Why is it he, by the way? Lined up, sat on its golden throne, yeah, judging you. You're going down. Oh God, no. You're going down there. You're going up. Those that go up, the body comes back together. Wow. They believe this. Absolutely believe. So if the body's not whole, you're screwed, mate, aren't you? Going straight to hell. And that was the terror beyond death. Not only was the body obliterated, but there was no chance of material resurrection on the day of judgment. And these people believed all this. That's why it's still difficult to get donors for body parts. Some people still believe it. That the body has been... Why did they bury people in lead-lined coffins? To preserve the body. Because it would be needed. Why did they embalm people? To preserve the body. Because it would be needed again one day. Come off, Ed. But this is what these poor guys here believed. And so many of them are still wandering the corridors and cells of this place to this day. There's more, but I daren't. Thank you for listening for my ravings for a few, I don't know, 3/4 of an hour. I have this phrase, nobody leaves Derby Jail disappointed. And I'm hoping the same applies to you guys tonight.
Awesome.
It's extremely active. I didn't even finish my whiskey, did I? The only reason I brought it in was to explain to you that 2 Halloweens ago, on this table here, me doing ghost stories for Halloween, my whiskey glass suddenly started to come across this table and threw itself on the floor.
I've seen that video.
Derby Jail whiskey glass, that's all you need to put in on YouTube, have a look. Derby Jail whiskey glass, watch it happen. It's not impossible, because it did happen, but it's very active. Thanks for listening. Anyone else? They're on sale there. Have a good night.
And thank you for the talk, mate. I appreciate that. Brilliant. Do the protection prayer now and we'll get him out. Yeah.
Yeah, no problems.
I'm going to shut this off now, guys, for 10 minutes or so. But I'll be back on in about 10-15 minutes. See you very shortly, guys. Hope you enjoyed that chat. We are going to get our investigators out, and then I will do, Rosa. I will do, and I'll have a chat with you properly in a bit. About 10-15 minutes. See you soon.